Hey guys, Jim from Import Image Racing and welcome back to the channel. On this week's video, we're installing the Noble Precision JDM style DRL bezels with integrated turn signals onto our 2022 and up BRZ. Let's go. To kick off this video, I would like to start by saying this particular product only fits the 2022 to present Subaru BRZ. Normally, products like this would cross over between the BRZ and Toyota GR86, but due to the different bumper designs, this isn't the case. Sorry about that. With that out of the way, these bezels are a high gloss piano black full replacement bezel that not only adds the JDM style running light, but integrates the factory turn signals. On top of what's provided in the kit, we will be using the help of this Noble Mini Add-A-Fuse that will be linked in the description below. To clear the air, this bumper does not need to be removed to successfully install these DRL bezels onto the car. You can simply drop the front fender liner enough to access the clips that are behind the bumper, but for the ease of this video, we will be removing the bumper. Like I had mentioned before, you don't actually have to remove the front bumper, but we do have to get behind the bumper for the next step that I'm going to show you. And like I had mentioned, you can just loosen up these clips and get down underneath our front fender liner and get your hand and everything up inside the bumper cavity. Unfortunately, it's very difficult to show you that while I am doing the install. So we will come over here, and the new bezel as well as the old bezel is held on by all of these plastic clips and of course anchored in place by this one pesky push pin. So we can grab our flathead screwdriver or our pick, we can just release that plastic clip just like that. At that point in time, we can push and release all of our clips and push our old bezel out the front. Our new bezel is installed the exact same way the old bezel came out, with one exception. The Noble bezel still has all of the locks plus the push lock, but it also has this piece of 3M tape. So before we do a permanent installation, we're going to go ahead and clean and prep our surface. Then we will remove our tape and reinstall the entire bezel. Once the bezel is fully snapped into place, we can reattach it with our push pin. As a quick tech tip, make sure your wiring harness comes in just above all of your brake and air ducting. Repeat all of those steps for the other side. Now we get to talk about wiring, right? Everybody's favorite part. Well, luckily with this Noble kit, wiring is a breeze. So we will first find our jumper harness that is attached to the back of our DRL. The harness will have a brown connector and a black connector. And you will simply disconnect the turn signal connector off the back of the headlight, which resembles this brown connector identically. Then with that brown connector from the harness, you will plug it into the black connector from this harness. Then our open brown connector will go into the back of the headlight. Not only does that activate our turn signal, but we also use the ground circuit from the turn signal to activate our DRLs. So there isn't an additional ground we have to work with when installing these lights. Secondly, we can talk about the provided Noble harness. On this harness, you're going to see one raw white wire, and that is going to go to our fuse box on the passenger side of the vehicle. Then we will have two black connectors. These connectors will connect to the small white wire on each one of our DRL bezels. Just like that. The next step is to talk about running our power wire. Now, if you remove the bumper like I did, the preferred method is to take that power wire and run it behind the grille but in front of our bumper beam assembly. But if you opted to not remove the actual bumper and you're looking for another way to route your wires, I am going to show you that now. So the alternative way to do this is to run your power wire up on top of your cooling fans and then sandwich underneath your intake snorkel for your intake box. If you do opt to install your power wire this way, I would take special care to make sure that no part of our harness or our wire is going to make contact with vital engine components like the cooling fans and or our hood latch. With our white power wire run to the fuse box, we can take our fuse box cover off, then locate the 30 amp wiper fuse in this location. Remove this 30 amp fuse. With our handy dandy mini add-a-fuse, we are going to locate the 30 amp fuse that we removed from the vehicle. Then we will install that into the bottom section of our add-a-fuse. Once our 30 amp is added, we will get our 10 amp provided fuse and add it to the top side. So our 10 amp fuse will be in line with our new red power wire. Install this add-a-fuse into the location that we removed our 30 amp fuse. At this point in time, we can take our white power wire and clamp it to our now energizing red power wire from the fuse box. Reinstall the factory fuse cover. Finally, with the ignition on, check for proper function of your daytime running lights and turn signals. With all of our functionality checked and in good working order, we can finally reinstall the bumper or reinstall those inner fender liners. Thanks again for taking a look at the installation of the Noble Precision JDM style DRL bezels with integrated turn signals. For thousands of parts just like this plus tons more, be sure to hit up importimageracing.com for all the best deals on the web and in the world, and we'll catch you on the next one.